Appreciate you, brother.
Thank you very much, brother.
Thank you. How's everybody doing?
Good.
How's the retreat so far? I just got here 5 minutes ago, so I haven't heard much about it. So who here is actively making content on social media right now? Okay, good shit. That's a lot more than the last time I was speaking. I had maybe 20% of the room last time say that they were making content on social media, so you guys are already ahead of them. I've been making content the last 13 years. As I mentioned, since I was 12 years old, I discovered some guys on YouTube that called themselves the FaZe Clan. Essentially, they were making Call of Duty videos, making 6 or 7 figures from just fucking recording Call of Duty shit, and it blew my mind because I was 11 years old at the time. I'm like, dude, if I can start making Call of Duty videos and make some money off of it, like, I'm living. So I started doing the exact same shit. I started recording Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Black Ops, and as you can see with that little red circle there, we got a crazy 80 views on these fucking videos. I also cuss a lot, so just like FYI. But obviously that didn't work out too much. The FaZe guys switched over to vlogging after a couple years, so I did what was working, just modeled success, and I started vlogging. I was in high school, grabbed my iPhone is what I started with, brought my first camera up in the corner, and I started recording my boring life, and I'm from America, so Kansas City, Missouri, just smack in the middle of the country. And as you can see, we actually got a little bit better of a result here, got 200 views. So, we're on our way to buying our, first supercar. Prank videos were the next up, Big DOS TV, the Nelk boys were just starting off, and I got myself out of my comfort zone. I was super introverted growing up, and I actually ended up getting onto the street, doing interviews, doing, magic to pick up fucking girls, acting stupid in front of homeless people. And we actually got a pretty good result here. We got 40,000 views on some of these videos, so YouTube was starting to get a little bit of traction, but transparently, that 40,000 views on YouTube didn't significantly change my life whatsoever. The first thing that actually changed my life, and I don't know if I'll actually play this here, it's loading, but I started making these little travel videos. I'll turn the audio off because it's loud as shit. Essentially just modeling Jay Alvarez, if you guys are familiar with Jay Alvarez and these travel videos that he was making back in the day. I started doing the same shit and got the attention of these 3 entrepreneurs here. Similarly to a good friend of mine actually here in Marbella. When I was 18, 19, I just started doing travel videos and got the attention of successful entrepreneurs who wanted me to fly across the country, live in Phoenix, Arizona, essentially become their full-time videographer and make content for them, the same way that I was doing for my personal brand. And as soon as I moved down there, my life completely changed. We were living in a huge mansion like this, $5 million mansion in Arizona. I was meeting a bunch of successful entrepreneurs and traveling around the country looking like this. And at the time was making absolutely no fucking money. They essentially paid me by introducing me to their network, referring me some freelance clients, but the trade-off was get access to the network, they cover the cost of the living, the travel, all that stuff, and I get to look like I'm making a shit ton of money on Instagram. So it was a great time. But like I said, got to meet some successful entrepreneurs. Most of these guys are American. I don't know if you all know them, but we got Dan Fleshman, Brad Lee, Sean Kelly, Lado, Sebastian George, who's a good friend of mine, Drama, and then Mr. John Malott. He was one of the guys that invested in the company for the house that we were living in Arizona. Even got to meet some crazy people like this. How many of you guys know anybody on the screen here? Yeah, don't admit to that, okay? But it was a good time. And after about a year, life completely fell apart. I ended up getting drugged by some people that I trusted in Arizona and had a seizure, blacked out for like 10 hours. I started getting involved, as you saw on the last slide, with the wrong types of people. And after that experience, I pretty much just moved back home. My morals and values had dropped a lot. I developed a big ego, and I had to start from zero because I dropped out of college to move over there to Arizona. I had no money. I just left all my clients. I left my network over on the west coast of America. So really was just in my mom's basement, starting from absolute zero once again. Around that time, my mom and dad were giving me the "I told you so" talk. They're like, dude, that fucking knew this would happen. Like, neither one of them went to college. I just ruined my college experience to go pursue this opportunity that didn't work out. So like, now you got to go become an electrician, a plumber, go back to trade school, do something, because obviously social media is not for you. Around the same time I was looking for a job, I discovered this book called Crushing It. I just had it stored in a bin in my house. It's by Gary Vaynerchuk. And he talks about a lot of different things in this book, but the first thing that he talked about that really caught my attention was Musical.ly. And around the same time I read this, Musical.ly had just transitioned from that into TikTok. So I didn't really blink an eye at it. I was always focused on Instagram and YouTube, but I decided to download Musical.ly and actually give it a shot. And I was doing exactly what you would expect somebody to do on fucking Musical.ly, dancing, singing, lip syncing, looking like a complete e-boy piece of trash with some ripped jeans and all that shit. And nothing was working until I did something that nobody had really done on the platform before. Everybody was making these 15-second videos, dancing, lip syncing, doing trends, little skits, whatever. And I decided to max out the story length at like 60 seconds. That was the longest piece of content you could create at the time, and nobody was really making content more than 15 seconds. So I was just talking to the camera, talking head style, holding my phone up like this, and I maxed out the video length. And funny enough, it worked. I got the most views that I'd gotten in the previous like 7 to 13 years of trying social media. Got 55,000 views. And because it worked, you know, one day, the next day I decided to try to do the same thing, and we got the same result. Another 55,000 views, got some really gorgeous thumbnails here, but it was crazy. You know, and this is when I had my first big lesson on social media. I just got 110,000 views in the span of 2 days, like 2,000 or 3,000 followers. And what I realized was that the people that are winning on social media are the ones doing something that hasn't been done before. And now there's kind of two different ways you can interpret that. One, it's like, you know, it's just never been done before, period. Nobody's thought of that idea, nobody's done that. Or you can think about it as pretty much how I thought about it. Nobody has done a specific thing on a specific platform in a specific way before, and that's kind of what was applicable to me. Because around that same time, I watched a video by Ryan Trahan, another successful YouTuber, and he had this series where he was trying to go 0 to 1 million TikTok followers in the span of a week, which sounds absolutely fucking crazy in today's world. But back in TikTok, it was actually relatively achievable. And I'll save you the time of watching I think it was like 7 episodes, and just tell you that, you know, the first 3 days started off relatively slow. He didn't get a lot of traction whatsoever, and he was definitely not going to hit his goal. But on day like 4, he went on Twitter and took these viral tweets in a written format, and he turned them into videos in video format, obviously, on TikTok. And now, like I said, I'll save you the time, but he ended the week with 400,000 followers after starting to do that in 7 days. And apart from the first big lesson I had, this is when everything really clicked in my head. You see, you don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel to find success on social media. You just need to steal other people's shit, right? Kind of. Specifically, what I'm talking about is the remix strategy. And now this is going to be the start of the more strategic, analytical part of what I'm going to be talking about. So if you guys are taking notes, this is where that starts, now that we got the background in. But the remix strategy, and this is what I use primarily with all my clients. We'll talk about 2 different strategies over the next couple minutes, but the first of which, and the most important, is the remix strategy. So taking content that has already proven to go viral on social media and remixing it or making it better. And now I popped up a couple different ways you guys can go about doing this. We have number 1, switching production quality. This could be if it was filmed with a shitty Android in the middle of Africa, film it with a 4K camera and some nice microphones. We have giving your own take on a topic. In America, one of the most popular topics right now is like peptides and men not being men again. So if you have expertise, knowledge on that specific topic, take the topic and just give your own specific take on it. Maybe utilize the hook from the video that you found it on originally, but give your own expertise, your information, your value. Number 3, we have adding additional context. This could be B-roll. This could be elaborating on something that maybe wasn't elaborated on in the original video, or it could just be effects and captions.
So would that be like when you're saying add in content, would that be like a part 2 of a video essentially?
No, so if an example that I can use that I've done in the past is somebody made a video talking about travel hacking and how you can like utilize credit card points in America to get cheap flights and stuff like that. And the video that I found that went viral was this guy just using his iPhone and talking to the camera about this strategy. He didn't have any B-roll. He didn't really provide strategic, like how people can go actually implement this. He was more so just broadly talking about it. So I remade a video back in the day where I screen recorded me actually going through the websites, showing how to transfer the points, how to book the flights, and elaborated on the information that people in the comments were asking about that he had left out. Does that make sense?
So you went in the comments.
Yep.
And just basically looked for what people...
Yeah, we're missing.
Okay.
Like providing a missing puzzle piece on a video that had already been viral. Number 5, we have changing the video structure. If you guys find a successful skit that was super funny and you think you can make it applicable to what you guys got going on, turn it into, an educational piece of content. Turn it into a different skit that's just, maybe about you guys' niche. Maybe it's trading. Number 6, making it applicable to your industry, as I just said, and then number 7, putting it on another platform. This is specifically what Ryan Trahan did, and this is what I did, which I'll show you here in a second. Ryan obviously took something that had already proven to go viral on Twitter, and he just put it in a different format on a different platform. Same thing with me. If we click onto this next slide, my specific strategy was going on Reddit, finding the most viral jokes. I did storytelling, as you guys saw earlier. Finding the most viral jokes, the most viral one-liners, finding those top performing ones, and then essentially pulling an entire 50-second story out of my ass and just leading up to that already proven viral joke or one-liner as the punchline to the video, if that makes sense. Since I was doing storytelling, obviously I only have so many stories to tell, so this is what I ended up relying on relatively quickly. And my very next video, so video number 3, story time, got 10 times the amount of views as the first 2 using this strategy. We had 554,000 views, what I consider my first viral video in the 13 years of trying social media. And because it worked so well, obviously I had to keep doing it. By the end of month 2, I had about 50,000 followers. Month 3 was 100,000 followers. Within 6 months, I hit 1 million followers. That's the screenshot from the ticker of it actually going over the 1 million mark. Underneath that, it also says I was like top 1,000 creators on the platform at the time in 2019, which is crazy if you think about how many people were on TikTok. And then that's a live stream I did with a bunch of followers on TikTok where I popped some confetti cannons in, one of the fucking spare rooms at my mom's house. And then within 12 months, had about 2 million followers between my social platforms. My main ones were Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. So absolutely crazy growth. And because of that success, I had businesses start asking for help. They just reached out. Specifically, the first one was a roofing company in America. He offered me $4,000 a month to essentially just go do the same shit I was doing with my personal brand, but for him. And me, who was making a bunch of inconsistent social media money at the time, thought this was fucking great. I was like, consistent 4K to just make TikToks? Like, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. And I said yes without really thinking about it. I jumped off the cliff and built the parachute on the way down because I didn't know shit about roofing. Like, my dad divorced parents when I was like 3. I didn't even know how to hold a hammer or change like a car tire. So let alone anything specifically about roofing. But we implemented the same strategy that I just talked about, the remix strategy. And within 90 days, we turned them into the most popular roofing company in America. 30 million views. They hit 10,000 followers on pretty much 3 different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And because of that success, he referred us to his wife. She did cooking content, and then over the next couple years, we worked with pretty much every industry you can think of, even plumbers, and we got the same result every single time. Virality in any of these industries using the remix strategy, which is why I said that was important. Hopefully you guys took a photo of it, but I'll pop it up here in a second again if you didn't earlier. We can skip over this part because this was from a previous speech I did where I was talking about some local businesses in Tampa, but the problem that most people face, especially small businesses, is that 73% of them feel unconfident in their marketing strategy. Maybe that's you guys. You don't know what to create. You don't know how to create it. Maybe you don't have the time to create it, and maybe you don't even have a clear message that's targeting, your ideal client profile, which in this case is probably other traders, if I would imagine. Is that right?
Yeah.
So
It's a bit of both, actually. Like, obviously, let's say if you were to bring in another trader,
yeah,
the advantage is they're a lot easier to work with because they understand the industry.
Yep.
But then also and again, another advantage of our industry is like just normal people as well. Like, people just want to make money.
Yeah.
And then again, the fact that it's free, there's nothing to sell.
Yeah.
Whereas back then, a lot of us did network marketing. It was you had to sell someone who has 0 experience. Oh, I don't want to pay 200 and something. Whereas the fact that this is free, it's like all you need to do is put money in your account. So yeah, if we can get both,
yeah,
it works to our advantage. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to pop up here in a second is going to be even more applicable. So I'm going to break down exactly what I did with this men's health clinic because I think it's the most applicable. As you can see on the screen, we took a small little brick and mortar men's health clinic. These 2 guys here in the middle, this blonde guy and that brunette dude, super jacked. Turned them from a local brick and mortar in Florida into a nationwide telehealth company worth over 8 figures in the span of 12 months, primarily utilizing social media, all organic. And you see in the middle, we got collaborations with Dan Bilzerian, one of the most popular male influencers in America, probably in the world. Alex Eubank, another popular fitness influencer. Don't have it popped up on here, but they've done stuff with Clavicular and James Fishback, who's running for Florida governor right now as well. So a bunch of crazy collaborations, primarily through social media content. And before I get on to the next slide, I'll just stress that making social media videos is one of the best things you can do right now primarily because as AI gets better and better, as it gets harder to distinguish between what's real, what's fake, we're pretty much already at that point. The only thing that's going to make you guys stand out like this year, let alone in the next 3 years, is going to be having an established personal brand. You're going to be able to utilize that, monetize that for years to come. And as you can see, you can get opportunities that you never would have thought fucking imaginable in only 12 months just for making consistent content. So really, really fucking important. The first three things I want you guys to figure out is who's going to be in the content. In this situation, most of you guys, I'm assuming, are going to be in your own content. I don't know why you wouldn't. The next is going to be your target demographic. We just talked about that a second ago, but having your ideal client profile figured out is going to be very beneficial. Like the psychology of what interests those people, what are their pain points, what's going to get them to start watching my content, let alone follow me. For this clinic, it was men that are 21 to 50 plus with low testosterone and performance issues. It's a relatively broad audience, but as long as our content appealed to those people, any of those people watching the videos could potentially turn into paying customers for them. So with you guys, if you can figure out your ideal client profile, make content that is centered around that profile, anybody watching your content can potentially become a lead, can potentially work with you. So I want to stress that. And lastly, what is your messaging? Usually, this goes back to what I said earlier, what hasn't been done before. Using them as an example, since they're in the men's health space, normally men's health is very black and white. It's very lab coat, it's very educational, college and university, it's super fucking boring. So what we did is we went the complete opposite direction. We made not so politically correct content that was super fucking entertaining and honestly super right-wing political, just because most of our target audience fell under that category. So complete opposite of the typical medical industry who's very, left-wing. Next thing I want to mention is that the internet rewards the loud, not the talented, the clever, not the consistent. And although consistency definitely helps, I don't want to stress that. But I popped Andrew Tate up here as an example because he's pretty much the definition of this. If you guys seen any of his content, this guy's obviously really, really fucking loud. He says things in a way that gets half the audience to absolutely hate him and gets the other half the audience to absolutely love him. And then he's clever, not consistent. Clever in the sense that if you guys were familiar with how he became popular in the first place, he essentially started a private community. I know you guys have a lot of different private communities, but started a private community and in the community taught them to make money. And one of the ways he taught them to make money was by going and clipping up his content, distributing it on fan pages, and then driving the traffic back to an affiliate offer that just got more people into the fucking community. It was like this cycle of like, I'm gonna satisfy, the people buying in by teaching them to make money. And the way I'm gonna teach them to make money is essentially by fucking paying me more money. It's genius. And as you guys know, it worked brilliantly because he's one of the most popular people in the world. Now, I mentioned the remix strategy, and I want to go into specifically how you guys can start doing content research to actually utilize the remix strategy. And we're going to start with content pillars. If you guys are personal brands, and I think your situation, this is going to be applicable to you guys, you want to pick 3 to 5 niches or like areas of your personality to be making content in. For example, with me, I could say, my faith, I could say my relationship, I could say fitness, business, and then maybe photography, videography would be my 5. I'm gonna constantly be making content on a weekly basis that touches on one of those niches because it just rounds out my personality, and anybody watching my content is going to get a really good feel for who I am as a person, and as a result, have a lot of trust and rapport built up from them watching my content over a long period of time. But with the research, once you have your 5 niches, I want you guys picking 5 keywords that are relatively broad for each one of these niches. If we're using the example on the screen with the men's health clinic still, we have testosterone, and they can literally be as broad as just using the same word as one of the keywords. Testosterone, you could do high testosterone, you could be TRT, low testosterone, or even testosterone replacement therapy, which is just TRT written out. So relatively broad. If we're doing fitness, it could be CrossFit, it could be weightlifting, workout, exercise, like really broad shit like that. I'm gonna come back to the black box here in a second. Once you have your keywords, you should have 25 of them. If you did that, like I just popped up there, you're gonna find model accounts. And this could be accounts that you like, that you respect, that you would want to model your own personal brand off of. I know you guys all do trading, so first thing that comes to mind for me is like TJR. If you guys like TJR's videos that he posts on TikTok, Instagram, his long form on YouTube, that would be one of the accounts I would pop up here. And then I would go find 9 other accounts that are similar to TGR if that's somebody that I want to make my content similar to. And here's that again, for those of you guys that missed it. I just want to remind you what we're going to be doing with these keywords and with these model accounts. Now that we have them, we're essentially going to be going and finding videos to remix and make better on social media. Leave that up there, make sure there's no more phones up. You guys got your photos. But onto the actual content research part. A lot of this you guys are, if you're familiar with Claude and OpenClaw and stuff like that now, you actually can go just make an automation, and we're currently building out one that automates this whole thing. But for the last like 3 or 4 years, we have been doing it manually. We have somebody internally that does it. So I thought I would just pop it up in case you guys aren't at that point and you just want to manually go do it on your phone in a couple hours a week. But starting with the content research, option number 1 is going to be on TikTok. We do TikTok and Instagram primarily for content research to find what kind of stuff we're going to be making. And research option 1 is with your model accounts. So if you're taking your model accounts one by one, we're going to go search them on TikTok, go to the profile, and TikTok gives us this awesome little feature over there on the left where you can just filter their profiles by the most popular videos of all time. So you can go look at what's gone the most viral on that person's account since they made the account. And essentially what you're going to be doing with these top performing videos is going through them and finding things to remix. And if you're using your model accounts, all the videos that you're looking at should be relatively applicable to what you guys are trying to do on social media. So if something stands out to you, whether it's a topic, whether it's a video structure, maybe it's like a hook structure in the first 3 seconds, maybe it's a lifestyle edit with a certain background audio that you like, and you can go remake the lifestyle edit with the same background audio. I just want you finding videos that you think you can repurpose and make your own little spin on, if that makes sense. Research option 2 is with the keywords on TikTok. If you search those 25 keywords one by one, you're going to have an absolute plethora of already proven viral content to go repurpose and remake. And when you search those keywords, in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see those 3 little dots. It's essentially a filter button. You can filter by the like count in the last, 6 months, the last 1 month, the last week, the last, year, however long, and see all the most viral content within that time period, which is super powerful because in each little category of time slot, you're going to be able to have a whole new plethora of videos pop up. But this is great because now you're looking at the most viral videos that are relating to your keyword of all time on TikTok, which is super fucking powerful because you can go analyze all those videos to see what's working and what's not working, obviously. Going over to Instagram now. Similar, research option 1 is actually not applicable anymore because they just came out with a feature that lets you do the same thing on TikTok. But if you search your model accounts, same thing. There's now a filter button on the Reels tab specifically that lets you filter the Reels by the most popular to the least popular, which is fucking great because you used to have to go on desktop and buy that Chrome extension, but you don't need to do that anymore. There's just a button. But same thing, you're gonna go through the top performing videos. I have mine popped up on the screen. So you can see we got like 50 million, 50 million, 20 million, 20 million. And you can go analyze these videos the same way you did on TikTok. Instagram search is it's a little bit more gay. You can't use the filter method at all. So when you search these keywords, luckily with AI now, it just shows you the most popular videos that are applicable to the keyword that you searched. But you can't necessarily play around with the time frames or filter it by like most viewed to least viewed. It's just kind of random. I would focus on everything that's like over 1 million views and go analyze that. But I want to stress that we're not writing down every single video or trying to copy every single video that went viral. To increase our chances of our own shit performing well, I want you guys focusing on what I call standout content. And standout content is content that specifically performs significantly better than the creator's average. So if I have, let's say, 100,000 followers on my Instagram and I get a video that gets 100,000 views, that's relatively normal. That's like expected because I have 100,000 followers. But if I get a video that breaks 1 million or 5 million, it's just significantly more than my average, I'm gonna go analyze and study that video. It's the same thing with like smaller accounts. If you have 5,000 followers and all of a sudden you get a video that breaks 100,000 views, like go analyze the shit out of that video, especially if it's on your own account, and see why that one did way better than your others. Is that all making sense so far? Yeah, we're following? Cool. Back to this screen, now that we got the black box removed, I want you finding your video structures. So every keyword you search, as I mentioned on TikTok and Instagram, you're gonna have a shit ton of videos pop up, like hundreds. And I want you finding 5 different videos that you can repurpose for every single one of your keywords. So if you have 25 keywords, you're finding 5 videos for each keyword between TikTok and Instagram. You're gonna have 125 different viral video ideas by the end of this. And that sounds like it's gonna be like super fucking time consuming, but realistically, you guys can knock this out in like 3 or 4 hours on a Sunday. And you're gonna have content for the next 3 to 6 months if you're posting like once a day. right? And most of us aren't going to post once a day. So just doing that now will set you up for potentially the next year, depending on how much you're posting. And
once a day on TikTok.
On all platforms. So like what we do is we recommend, if you're making a piece of content, we want it to have the best chance of performing well, obviously. Go post it on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Snapchat, like all the platforms. Because like with our team internally, I know like, because we post for clients, it takes max 20 minutes to go post one video to all 5 of those main short form video platforms. And something that flops, and I have this later in the slide, something that flops on like Instagram might go completely fucking viral on Facebook just because it hit a different demographic initially on that platform than it did on Instagram. Yep.
And what platforms are you posting on? Like all of them? Or?
Yeah. Anything that has a short form video platform that we can post to, we're gonna go upload it. Like I would, if you don't have an account, I would make an account.
As long as you're applying what you've said, would you recommend posting multiple times a day or no?
If you can post multiple times a day, I would totally do so. I would say the bigger factor is consistency. So if you know, your Saturday's open today and you make 8 videos, but tomorrow you got a bunch of shit going on and you only post once, and then maybe you don't even post on Wednesday or something, I would rather make 8 videos today and then evenly spread them out, you know, 2, 2, 2 throughout the week, rather than just load up a bunch one day and then not a lot the other day. I saw more hands. What we got? One of you guys.
Would you say is the best time to post on social media, or is it different across different platforms?
I have a hot take on that, on posting times, but I realistically believe, and from my experience posting for clients for the last 4 years, that if you have a good video, it's gonna perform well even if you post it at 2 a.m. in the morning. Like it's just, that's how it fucking works. When you post a video, Instagram's gonna show it to 50% non-followers and 50% followers. Maybe your followers are asleep, but those non-followers it shows it to, like if they respond positively to it, it's still gonna get pushed out more.
What about like hashtags and stuff? Do you use hashtags? Do they help the video get further? Or
That's the keywords. So that's for searching.
You don't actually use those hashtags, you just use them to find the inspiration.
Exactly, yeah.
They don't work on Instagram anymore, don't they now?
No, they're not very important. I don't use them. Like something that we taught our account managers to do, to just do it realistically, is we use like 3 to 5 keywords that are just applicable to that video. But they don't really have a big impact anymore on the performance of a video. Like YouTube actually just specifically tells you when you're uploading a video that like, hey, these do not really matter. So I wouldn't stress about that enough. I also wouldn't stress about the posting time. Like if you can go into your insights and figure out your most active time for your followers, totally post like going into that if you have the time. But if you make a video and it gets done at 9 p.m. and you're trying to post once a day, I would still post it at 9 p.m. just to get that video up, because it's still gonna perform well if it's a good video.
If we're not already posting on like YouTube Shorts, do you think that's something we should implement?
100%, yeah. If you don't have a YouTube account, I would totally do it, because it takes 2 extra minutes to post it to YouTube Shorts, and that could, you know, maybe your content performs significantly better on YouTube Shorts. Because from my experience, most of the time when our clients have videos, like maybe they do really good on Snapchat and YouTube, the content that does really good on Snapchat and YouTube usually doesn't do good on Instagram and TikTok. It's like a different demographic. So that's part of the reason I say post to every platform, because you don't know if like you can become Facebook famous 6 months from now just because they really fuck with your content. Like the 55,000 followers I had on Facebook, I got from just reposting TikToks on Facebook. Like I didn't make any extra content for Facebook. I just reposted videos, and now I have, you know, 55,000 followers on Facebook.
Did you say for the 25 keywords, make 5 videos per keyword?
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
You mentioned earlier when you post a video, it get pushed by so 50% followers and 50% non-followers.
Mm-hmm.
And you said obviously if the non-followers engage, they push the video.
Yeah.
Is it the same for the followers as well?
It's the same for both, yeah. So like if you're, it's going to test it. So like if your videos do super well with your audience, and then maybe all of a sudden it doesn't do well initially with non-followers, Instagram will push it to a lot of your followers until that kind of caps out. And then it might be a couple weeks for Instagram to figure out the specific demographic of people that's watching your content and then push it to with non-followers, but it's still gonna do well. So the more people are watching your video, watch time's the most important metric, it's gonna get pushed, either way.
One final one. Obviously with Instagram, are you posting normal reels or trial reels?
We're gonna talk about that in a second. And then what you got back there?
Yeah. So say for someone that's just started content at the beginning, do you think they should focus on more quantity of content or quality? Very good question.
It depends, because you can have success with both. It's really what it's what you're feeling for your brand and what you have time for. I've done both, but transparently, like my most viral, like that 50 million video I showed you took me 2 minutes to make in my car. And as you can see, like I got the cameras and all the nice shit, and I'll spend 40 hours making a video and it'll suck, like it'll flop.
And I have a quick follow-up. Do you think, like, in the modern day of TikTok, is like cameras and like lighting really matter, or is it mainly just like value?
It's more so value and understanding the psychology of what gets somebody to watch in the first place. Because those two guys I popped up on the screen a second ago, that men's health clinic, they have the access to the nice cameras and everything, but one of the co-owners, his personal brand's at like 200K on Instagram now in like the last year. And he chooses to not use his camera and just film with his iPhone because the video structures that have been working really well for him and going viral are when he films like talking head with his iPhone and then does a specific editing style. And as you can see, like I wouldn't let equipment like stop you from making content, because when I started making those vlogs, like I didn't have the camera. I was using my iPhone like 11 at the time to just make vlogs.
What do you think about deleting videos? I see a lot of people talk about how, like, you know, having like a low 200 view, 300 view video kind of clogs up your feed.
I wouldn't do it, because sometimes Instagram will push your videos like 3 weeks later, like randomly. So like if it doesn't do well off the bat, it's same with like long form YouTube. Like you could post a YouTube video right now and maybe it doesn't get traction, but YouTube's constantly behind the scenes testing to find that matched audience. And that might not happen for a year. Like I have a video on YouTube that's getting pushed right now and jumped like 1,000 views in the last couple weeks just because it finally found the demo that's watching it. So I wouldn't never do that. If you care about it like showing low views, then just like keep it on your Reels tab and take it off your main feed. But like right now, for example, like my Instagram grew from doing comedy videos, but now all of a sudden I'm making, you know, social media marketing videos that are targeting like really, really successful like 8-figure business owners. And I'm only making videos that are communicating to them just because that's who I'm trying to attract right now. And the videos aren't doing anywhere near as viral as they were when I was doing comedy. Obviously, it's a little more niche, but I'm still attracting those people, you know? So it's kind of your intention as well. And then we'll hold off on more questions. I'm gonna get through the rest of this real quick. But going on to the next slide. This is now going to be the second strategy that I'm going to talk about, and this will be a little quicker. But we talked about the remix strategy, and the whole point of what I want you to do with the remix strategy is if you don't really have a lot of traction right now, you don't really know what to post, you don't have the time, totally 100% just go do that, because it's going to save you the most time. You can plan all your content out like this week, and you'll know what to post over the next couple months. But once you figure out what starts working, I want you to do these specific content styles. And the reason I recommend these, whether you're a personal brand or you're a business owner, is because if you're trying to convert somebody, get them to buy something, get them to sign up for something, doing this over the span of just, you know, cycling through these 6 content styles every single week, they're going to have so much trust, rapport, and authority established with you that they're going to be a lot more willing to buy or sign up for whatever it is you guys are doing because of what I'm going to talk about. So the 6 specific content styles: educational, self-explanatory, but you know, your common mistakes, your myths versus facts, step-by-step tutorials, anything that's educating somebody on something is what I would consider an educational piece of content. For example, this week I made a video like, you know, the 3 different ways you should use trial reels right now, which we'll talk about here in a second. Double down content. This is remaking with small tweaks all of your most viral videos. So if you guys start doing the remix strategy for 3 to 6 months, you figure out shit that starts going viral for you, doubling down on those videos that performed well by remixing your own stuff now. Like you're not finding extra videos, you're just repurposing your own stuff. If you guys were paying attention, the top 2 videos on my page on Instagram both had 50 million views. It's the same video. There's just one small little tweak and I reposted it and it got another 50 million views and another like 20,000 followers. So super, super beneficial. Entertainment is self-explanatory. Your skits, your trends, your stitch videos, your lifestyle edits, anything that's entertaining. This is more so to reach the virality. This is what's going to go viral most of the time, a lot more. And it's also to just showcase a little bit of your personality as well. Storytelling content is my favorite. Fucking love storytelling content. This could be talking to the camera and just storytelling, or what I would recommend is turning what you're already doing on a regular basis into something that's consumable online. I use the example of, you guys know Giuliano Mazzarelli, the fucking life insurance guy in Miami? Bro, that kid just records his sales calls. Like he has to make sales calls whether he's recording or not, but now he's just recording them, turning them into content. So he's getting content and he's making money at the same time. If you guys can find a way to turn what you guys are doing regularly into content, you know, TGR back in the day, he was just clipping up a lot of his, you know, live streams where he was trading and he was just entertaining while he was trading, and he was clipping that up and getting content out of it. So that's what we did with that roofing company too that I popped up. They have to go door to door and knock and do sales. And we ended up miking them up similar to how I'm mic'd up right now, and just have a hidden camera and follow them around as they door knock. And we turned the sales pitches at the door into content, and that's what caused us to primarily get the 30 million views in 90 days for that roofing company. So love storytelling content. Authority content is your case studies, your transformations, your wins, your losses, showcasing all that stuff. And then lastly, we have series content, which other than trial reels right now is the most, like, the biggest opportunity on social media since like 2018 TikTok, 100%. Series. So if you guys have seen in America, there's, I haven't fully transitioned on a Spanish Instagram yet, but in America, there's this kid that door dashes for a wedding ring for his girlfriend. Maybe you guys have seen it, maybe you haven't, but essentially what he does is he door dashes every single day, and he tries to save up money to buy his girlfriend this $6,500 ring. And it's turned into this series. I think he's like only 2 months in, but the kid's accumulated almost 400,000 followers from this series. And it's because people can follow it, it's repeatable, they know what they're getting every single time the video pops up, and it's something that people can invest into, they feel like they can become a part of. You guys could start series, you know, trying to get 100K in a month, $1 million in a month trading or whatever. And that's something you can build a series around that people can follow, you know? So those are the 6 content styles. Next thing I want to talk about after I take a sip of water is the marketing awareness funnel.
Can I ask you a question? So,
Go for it.
is what is it called? Series. Do you not need a certain amount of followers?
No.
On TikTok?
Nah, you can make, I mean, you can start making series content today. You know, it's really up to you. You just got to find something that you can make a series, a repeatable series in your life about, you know. Cool. Marketing awareness funnel now. Maybe you guys are familiar with this, maybe you guys are not, but it's essentially how aware somebody is of your product, service, and like them being sold to, essentially. So using the men's health clinic as an example, an unaware piece of content would be something where we only talk about men's health. That's like the topic or the category or the niche of that specific video. And slowly as we get more down the funnel, we're getting more specific. So product aware or problem aware is the next one. That's essentially a content where you make somebody aware of a problem. You know, this could be like you are not making any fucking money right now and you're broke and you have these problems. Those are essentially problem aware pieces of content. Solution aware is come to, you know, my business to fix my problem, right? For you guys, it's like I have day trading as, you know, my solution to fixing your brokenness. Like that's solution aware. Product aware, testosterone replacement therapy. In this case, it could be joining the community, signing up for that. That could be the product, you know, that you guys are trying to get people into to solve the problem that they have, you know. And the most aware piece of content is essentially what I call the ad level. It's essentially an ad. It's like, hey, in this situation, you know, if you're a man with low testosterone and you have performance issues, you know, come to Overtime Men's Health where we have testosterone replacement therapy to fix your low testosterone. It sounds like an ad, but the great thing about the marketing awareness funnel is that you're able to interchange each one of these steps with those content styles that I put on the last page. So funny enough, the Men's Health Clinic, their most viral video that's like 22 million views is essentially an ad. Like it's a stitch video where we stitch something and then we just turned it into a funny skit. But the skit is us telling the audience about our business, what we do, and like doing a whole fucking walkthrough of the clinic. It's an ad, but it resulted in a shit ton of business for us. And it's a most aware piece of content. So just because it sounds like an ad doesn't mean that those can't go viral as well. It just depends on how you package it. And now, as I mentioned earlier, I want to reiterate that there's 2 main things that people are not really taking advantage of, and one of them is posting to every social media platform. I stressed this earlier, so I'm not going to leave it on here for too much, but here's an actual example that I was referring to. We have a client that does real estate content, same exact video, and as you can see, there's a drastically different fucking result, and it's primarily because we just posted the same thing to a different platform in 2 extra minutes. Instagram, 9,000 views for those of you guys in the back that maybe can't see it. And then on Facebook, 21 million fucking views just because we took 2 minutes to go post it to another platform. So like for those of you that aren't posting on Facebook right now, you could have been Facebook famous 6 months ago and you wouldn't have had any idea. And lastly, I talked about trial reels. These are the 3 different ways you should be utilizing trial reels right now, guys. I mentioned other than series content, this is probably the biggest opportunity with social media at the moment. Specifically, you can transition niches. So what I mean by that, this might not be applicable to everybody. Say you're in a situation like me, you grew a lot of followers doing comedy, and now you want to talk about business content. But none of your comedy followers give a shit about the business content because they just followed you to be entertained and, you know, for you to dance for them and shit. Essentially what you can do is you can upload your new business content to trial reels, because the glory of trial reels is that it specifically pushes out your content to non-followers, which means they don't follow you, they've never seen a piece of your content before. And that's great because you can share that business content and it'll get shown to people that actually care about it. And over time, you can slowly bring in an audience through trial reels that care about your business content to the point where you have enough of a foundation of those people that are regularly watching your video that you can just share it normally and they'll watch it and it'll perform well now. So super fucking cool that you couldn't really do up until now. You used to have to just make a new account or you had to be an absolute creative genius on transitioning niches. Number 2 is hook testing. This is the number 1 way that we primarily utilize trial reels right now, is hook testing, which means changing the hook in the first 3 seconds of your video. This could be a verbal hook. This could be, you know, the title that's on screen. This could be the first B-roll clip in the video. Just small little tweaks like that. But again, as I mentioned earlier, if you guys are taking the time to make a video and you want it to have the best chance of performing well, take an extra 5 to 10 minutes and just change the title. Like that's literally all you got to really do is make a version, title it, you know, speaking at an event in Marbella, make another one, talking to traders in Marbella, like just, you know what I mean? Just small little tweaks. Upload all 3 to trial reels. And then after 48 to 72 hours of having them on trial reels, share the best performer back to your audience. Super fucking good tactic that works wonders. It also allows you to figure out what's working for yourself a lot faster than the person that's not doing that.
So you're saying you post the same video 3 times, just with different tweaks on each one?
Yep.
And then the best performer is
Yep. I'll do the caption, the hashtag's the same, the music, I'll just change one variable, and then I'll upload all 3 to trial reels, back to back. And lastly, double down content. I talked about that a second ago. But realistically, if you're remaking your own viral videos, you can only do that so much every single week before your own audience is like, why is this guy posting the same shit for the 5th time this week? So, best part about trial reels is you can double down as much as you want. You can take a viral video, you can tweak it 20 times today if you wanted to, and upload all 20 variations to trial reels because it's only gonna get shown to non-followers, people that haven't seen it. So part of the reason that, you know, my top 2 videos got 50 million was because I reposted the second one to trial reels and it got up to 50 million just on trial reels without me even showing it to my audience. And I repost that video probably once every like 2 weeks, and every single time it breaks 1 million views, like every time. So those are the 3 different ways you guys should be utilizing trial reels. This QR code should still work. I haven't checked it in a couple weeks, but if you go there and enter your contact information, I'll send you this Canva document. It's a little bit more elaborate, but it cut off on the TV. And it essentially just showcases the entire strategy that I just broke down for you guys. So if you want to save it, I know you were taking photos, but if you want it laid out in a nice little Canva document, you can scan that, download it. It'll include, you know, step by step what you should do. It'll have the trial reels, the model accounts, the whole web, all that shit. But that's it from me, guys. I'll leave it up there for another second for you. And now, you got any other questions, or we can just go into Q&A for a little bit? But I will say the benefit of TikTok Live or even Instagram Live, YouTube live stream is just nurturing your followers that might be interested in working with you, if that makes sense. So if you can do live streams, you know, 2 or 3 times a week, if you're doing them every day, great. When I was on TikTok, I would post twice a day and then live stream for like 3 hours afterwards every day to just like engage my audience. And those people were normally most of the people that, you know, when I sold merch, were buying all the merch. They were in the private communities, they were signing up for all the shit just because they felt like they had a closer connection with me. So if you have anything to sell them or get them to sign up for, totally would do that and just almost treat it like a Q&A and just answer questions the whole time.
I've got 2 questions.
Yep.
First, with the TikTok videos, do you think adding captions at the top or bottom is beneficial?
It's something worth testing. So like if you can test it on trial reels, for example, like maybe your videos sometimes with just a title and then no captions perform well, or maybe sometimes when you add captions that works. It's really just gonna be a matter of testing and figuring out what your specific style is that starts working. I will say with captions, if you are gonna add them, always put them like directly under your face or like the subject in the video, because if you have them like at the top or bottom, when you're watching it, although it's on your phone, it's a small screen, people like feel like they need to fucking work to understand what's going on, because they need to look to the top of the screen to like read what's happening, but they need to look back down to the middle to see like, okay, what's actually happening with the video. So if I'm doing like a talking head video, I'll always put the captions right under my chin so that people like can look in the same little zone and understand both.
And the second one is, would you like recommend investing in like a website, say like this, to like have a better funnel for when people come from your videos, they go on your page, click on the website?
So you can do both. You can do both. It's up to you. And that's another thing. Everything's fucking testing with marketing, right? So you can make a landing page like that one that popped up. I generated in like fucking 10 minutes with like Bolt, like an AI vibe coder. Yeah, super easy, super clean. And I just needed it to like capture like, you know, potential leads and stuff with the QR code, obviously. But you can do that. If you go analyze my Instagram, which I can pop up. I think that's on the fucking next slide too. Right there. Don't scan the second one, the website's down. But the Instagram on the top, if you go look at my Instagram, I'm utilizing right now the profile funnel. Nick Setting is a guy on Instagram right now that made that kind of popular, but I've been testing it out for myself. And that's essentially playing the same role as the website. So you can test the website, or you can build out like your profile funnel. And if you're making content consistently for your ideal client, just structure your entire Instagram to essentially act as the nurturing mechanism for cold traffic. So like if you go look at my Instagram, in my bio, it says who I am, what I do, who I serve, and then there's some sort of call to action. And then there's a link to my YouTube for people that want to go watch longer form content to maybe learn things or maybe just get nurtured more, do their fucking due diligence before working with me, whatever. And then on my Instagram, you know, my highlights, I have, you know, client testimonials. I have, you know, like a start here badge that kind of just walks them through who I am and what I do in a little more detail. And then the content is all just made to target my ideal client. So if you're constantly making content to target your ideal client, then you're essentially like, you know, even doing those content styles, it's nurturing them over time. You know, and if you pair that with call to actions in your videos and your stories every once in a while, those people will convert 100%.
Yeah, would you say adding audio makes like videos go more viral?
Definitely, if you're doing a video with an audio, I would totally utilize viral audios. Like Instagram and TikTok, I think even YouTube does this. I haven't looked in a little bit, but they have that trending audio tab. Totally would utilize those because people will go to, like, if they like an audio, they'll go save it. And when they go to the save page, it shows all the top videos with that audio. So it's a way of discoverability. And if you can utilize that, it's better than, you know, I would say it's better than putting the audio on your own video yourself. I've done both. It kind of depends on the video. I would say like 90% of the time I would do that. But if, you know, I'm trying to come up with an example. If you're doing like talking, I think it would probably be most applicable with talking head videos. Like I had the reason I got legacy verified on Instagram, not paying for the subscription, was because I made a video on TikTok and it was a story time. It got like 30 million views or something. And then like 6 months later, some other girl like took the audio of me talking and like just made her own video with it because it was something funny or it was applicable, it was me discovering something. And her video got 10 million extra views. And that boosted mine up to like 35, 40. And because of her video, it, for some reason, got like 32 news publications about it. Like I had 32 news publications done about me and was able to use that to get submitted for verification on Instagram back in the day before they had the fucking paid bullshit. And that would be a situation where not using a trending audio could benefit you because now it's still a viral video with a discoverability for your profile, if that makes sense. Yep, in the back.
So you know how like, you have your niches,
Yeah.
and you have your keywords.
Yep.
Like so one was testosterone.
Yep.
And one was TRT.
Yep.
So if you make a video about TRT, would you use hashtags on the video?
Yeah, as I mentioned, I mean, you can find like 3 to 5 applicable hashtags for your videos.
Yeah.
If you mean like if I'm finding one video about TRT and then I have to find a new keyword, no, because when you're doing those content research methods, you're gonna search TRT and there's gonna be 300 videos on TikTok that pop up that are all viral that you can scroll through, and that's gonna take you a while. And same thing with like Instagram, that's a whole other platform. So you got hundreds of videos from that one keyword that you can go look at. And you know, every single day people are making more content about TRT. So like, you're not gonna run out of content by just keeping that one keyword.
So would you say like hashtags aren't as important?
Hashtags are definitely not as important as they used to be. Like it's more like the most important factor on social media is watch time and a video getting pushed. So I would 1000% just focus on getting people to watch your video. Like have a really good strong hook, make sure that people are actually watching through your whole video. On the insights of TikTok and Instagram right now, there's a watch time chart. So you can actually go in your insights for a video, go to that watch time chart, and then you can see if there's significant drop-offs anywhere in your video. Totally go analyze those and like, okay, what did I do to like piss off 10% of the people and get them to click off the video right there? And then fix that for the next video or remake your video with that change fixed. And that's what I would focus on a lot more than hashtags. Right next to you.
What would you recommend to, obviously, you know, you were saying watch time is really important.
Yeah.
What would you recommend
I kind of touched on it a little bit with the ways to remix videos, but I mean, you can add B-roll, you can add, you can do a green screen effect and like have your head floating with, whatever you're talking about behind it. You could add.
I mean, like, how would you make yourself look more entertaining while you're speaking? Like, is there certain facial expressions, certain tones of voice?
Yeah, so if you can, I don't have my phone on me. If you go go on Instagram real quick, I'll just give you one of my clients. I'm gonna refer to him while I'm talking about it if you want to pull it up real quick.
Okay.
His name's Julian Becerra. It's JulianBecerra, I think. There might be two U's.
J.R. Becerra.
Julian Becerra. I can give it to you after this too. But what I was gonna refer to with him is he exaggerates every aspect of his video. Like if you go watch some of his talking head videos, it looks like he just naturally does things, but he will purposely like exaggerate the way he's speaking. He'll do like an action, just make it fucking super flamboyant and like way more exaggerated than it needs to be. So he kind of enhances his personality. If you go watch like any of my talking head videos from when I blew up on TikTok, I talked super fucking fast and I would constantly be swinging my phone around. I cut like every 3 seconds. I would do a bunch of different things to just like keep people entertained because you want to keep that watch time up. If you're just, boring personality talking to the camera, no motion, no captions, no B-roll, no nothing, and you have like a, very bland voice, it's not going to do well. Like you have to purposely add some energy, add some, movement, some emotion, some B-roll, just throw all that shit in there and just test different variables,
Yeah, would you say that one quality video, say if you're adding, so you're talking in a video with like lots of B-roll in, stuff like that, would you say that's more quality than just posting maybe five TikToks of a talking video a day? Would you say one quality video is better than?
No, because no, I wouldn't say one version is better than the other. Like something you'll realize with social media as you venture into it is like follower conversion is like a metric that I track. And what I mean by that is like if you make a video that goes viral and it has a high follower conversion, that means you're just like getting an abnormally more amount of followers from that video than normal. And like for an example, if I make a lifestyle edit of me just like with B-roll talking at this event or whatever, and I don't actually include any value, like it could get 1 million views, but because there's no value being provided, I'm not talking, it's not really establishing a relationship with the viewer, it's just like this nice cool thing. I'm not gonna get near as many followers from it versus if I clip up a video from this of me talking and I post it, that then goes just as viral because I'm providing value, I'm showing personality, I'm giving a lot more, education, stuff like that. I might get a lot more followers from that video, even if it performed less than the first one. Does that make sense? So in terms of what you're posting, I mean, it really depends on your goal. Like if you're just trying to like flex that you get 50 million views a month, maybe do the first option. But if you're trying to attract like a bunch of other traders to be able to utilize for different things, I would totally, evenly split between those content styles. And, what you'll notice is that the entertainment one most of the time is going to get you the least qualified followers, but they're going to go the most viral. So it depends. What you got? 100% great. Like I regret not staying more consistent with long form YouTube. When I was doing TikTok, I would make vlogs for a while that would average like 20 to 30,000 views because of my TikTok followers. But then when I got into business, I stopped making videos for like 3 years on YouTube. So I went from this like kid in his mom's basement to now making, almost 7-figure company with no in between. So it's like anybody that's now watching the business videos that I'm posting are like, how the fuck did he get there? Versus if I had documented that whole journey, I probably could have still kept a lot of those initial followers engaged. And because I showed the whole journey, it would have been like an Iman Gaji situation where like you can go on his YouTube and see when he was fucking broke and see all of the videos until now where he's at now. And that's why everybody buys his shit with like no hesitation and they all trust him because he's documented the whole journey. So if you can do YouTube long form consistently while also making short form videos, it's only gonna help you. And it's something I'm having to backtrace on now. So if you can do it right now, do it.
So I've got two quick one question. So, we all share content about trading, and especially on TikTok, it's on the financial side. Would you say it's important that we mind the way we speak about, the trading? Because sometimes when you use words like easy money or that kind of stuff, it could, I don't know if it's a thing, shadow ban the video, or like maybe make sure to add disclaimers in the caption or anything like that.
If you're doing YouTube long form, definitely add disclaimers if you're gonna do some trading shit. Like my client talks about peptides, and because it's like health advice and he's not a doctor with no license, he always has a disclaimer on his videos. So I would do that. With short form, it's a little more lenient. They're not gonna be as strict about it. It's more so something where I would do it until you notice that it's starting to affect your account, and then figure out why it's affecting it, and then just refrain from doing that in future videos.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, and then obviously, what's your opinion about, you know, posting TikTok videos with, you know, paid views or paid likes to get leads or anything like that?
I haven't done it on TikTok. On Instagram, it's great, but I would only boost videos that are targeting an audience that you want to bring in. Because like going back to my lifestyle example earlier, like if my lifestyle edit, I'm boosting that to get more views, but it's bringing in just a bunch of random shit followers, like it's not really worth it. But if I boost the educational video that's bringing in a bunch of people interested in content marketing, then I'm getting more followers out of it that I actually want to be following me, that I can utilize and monetize later. And I will say, only boost shit when it's completely died out in the algorithm. Like if I post a video today, don't boost it immediately. Let the algorithm do its thing, let it run its course. And then 3 weeks from now, when it's done getting views, then boost it, because it's already died out, it's not gonna perform better. If you boost it right away, it's going to affect the performance of that video organically, and it might not achieve the amount of views that it would have if you waited to boost it later. Yep.
So with TikTok Live, the one thing, that's probably the one thing I've struggled with. Are there certain things that you do on live to keep people entertained, or it's just?
It's up to, I mean, it'll be different for you if you're doing like trading stuff. It's really up to you. A lot of it's personality. Like if you go look at a lot of the top streamers right now, most of it is just they have a mask on for social media. Like TGR is a lot different in person than he is, you know, in his content, where he looks like a crackhead. But he does that specifically on social media because it's his persona. You know, if you do the same thing as everybody else, you're gonna have the same result as everybody else. So if you can exaggerate your personality, find ways to be entertaining while trading, maybe you're fucking, there's this guy on TikTok, I don't know if he trades, but he'll play video games in like a handstand on his desk. Like he'll do a handstand on his desk and still somehow have the keyboard and the fucking monitors on the thing flat. And he'll play while doing that and stream like that. And that kind of separates him from the crowd, you know? So you gotta be creative with it. I can't really specifically tell you a strategy, but if you can enhance your personality and just try to make things entertaining, like focus on your, like, where you normally get compliments on your personality, try to focus on those areas, but like enhance them for content, if that makes sense. Yep.
So I know you mentioned using trial rules and stuff like this, but I've got two different TikTok accounts from two completely different niches.
Yep.
Do you think it's best to like separate them and keep them separate, or do they using them?
What are the niches?
So one's just about my faith and religion, and then one is trading.
I would combine them. Like, I don't know how significantly different the content is, like but, you know, I would totally, like, as I mentioned with mine, I would totally make faith part of the videos. Like, if you have like a lot of followers, if you're starting from scratch, totally just mix them now. If you have, you know, maybe a foundation established with one or the other, just find a way to incorporate them together. Like with the trading content, super fucking easy. Like, you know, if you make, you know, $10,000 in a day, $10,000 a month or whatever, like, thank you God, like totally, you know, try to center the video around the fact that your faith also contributed to the success, if that makes sense. But that's a lot easier to implement than, you know, if you do like medication videos and then trading, like that, keep it fucking separate. But faith's just a part of your personality. So it's really just gonna come down to how you implement it. But like I said, if you have a following, be strategic on how you, like, try to still make trading content, but have faith play into that, or vice versa. I'm gonna go over here real quick.
So when it comes to Instagram, one issue that I've been having in the past couple of weeks is getting restricted for like very random reasons. One of the main causes of this is, say for example, type in a network and get someone from TikTok, follow me on Instagram. I go through my following list and I message them, and if for some reason I get like random restrictions.
How many messages are you sending a day? If you go to your settings right now, the 3 little bars on your profile, and you scroll down to account status, click that, and then tell me if there's all green check marks or not. Then I don't know. I mean, it means your shit's fine. It just like, it's restricting you on messaging people. It's because the accounts you're clicking on do some sort of finance or business. Like if somebody sells crypto or business or finance or like, I don't know, drugs, for example, because it's like a potential scam, like it's not saying it is a scam, it's just saying it could potentially be a scam, like be cautious of this account. It's not is that the restriction, or is that just the notification you're getting when you follow, when you?
One restriction on my account when he goes to follow me.
Yeah, that's just because you do finance shit. Do you pay for verification, like the subscription? Then yeah, you probably can't change it. You can try to message support and see if there's a way to take it off, but because you're in finance, I don't think it'll go away. It just sucks because then it's like a two-factor email authentication. It's like, okay, are you sure you want to follow this guy? Versus if it's just one tap that you miss out on followers, you know?
Final question. So with what we do at the moment, because our business, we mainly do everything on Instagram.
Yeah.
Even with our TikToks, the end of the video, we're always doing CTAs to Instagram.
Yep.
Would you recommend doing that, or?
Watch the watch time chart, because if you go look at that watch time chart, you could see that like I retained like 15% of the audience the whole video, and then in the last 3 seconds, like half the people left. That's because of your call to action. But if they're not leaving, keep it in. But if you can see on that watch time chart that you're having a dip there, remove it and then just have a mini chat call to action in the bio, in the description, I mean. Yeah, because in the bio and in the description, use mini chat, because if somebody's interested, they'll just look naturally, like subconsciously at the description to see like, okay, this guy's talking about some cool shit. Is he offering anything? Like same Men's Health Clinic, we had a video that was a podcast clip. So obviously there's no call to action because we're clipping up something old, but we had a mini chat call to action in the description, and there was like 800 opt-ins for telehealth just because we put it there. Like the video didn't have any of the call to action in it. So yeah. Yep. What you got? 100%, yeah. Yep. Yep. I always tell people, like, I would put the DM followers when they follow you, that one, because that's super easy. You don't need to be salesy in it. Just like start a conversation, whether you have a setter or you're constantly paying attention. Like, you know, if you have a video go viral and there's 1,000 new followers that come in, like you can't message all those people in a day, but with mini chat, you can start conversations with all 1,000 and then maybe like, you know, a certain percentage respond. Those are now open conversations with traders that could potentially lead to business. So I would do that one. And then I always tell people to have one in their bio, one that they use for stories, and then one that they use for reels that they can put in the description of reels. And I would just set up the same flow for all 3 of those. To just have those as like your main ones. And then if you have offers or discounts or something, make some separate automations. But like those 4, I would totally make sure you have. I haven't done, they do TikTok. I haven't done it on TikTok. Just because I've noticed Instagram's like a lot better for it right now. But you can test it on TikTok for sure. It operates the same.
What would you say, I was going to say, what are your tips to keep your watch time up?
That's going to get into a whole other conversation about like psychology. I mean, the main thing is like having a very strong hook, immediately being able to communicate what your video is about in the first 3 seconds, while also piquing, you know, sparking some sort of emotion with the viewer. And then as long as you deliver on whatever it is you said, like your watch time will keep the people that are actually interested in the video. And then same thing I told him, just watch the charts. And like, if you go back and see there's a drop off, analyze why there was a drop off there and fix that for the next video. Cool. I think we're good.
Thank you very much.
Nice. I appreciate you guys.